Okay, well, according to new reports today, the Clinton campaign intends to go after delegates that are already pledged to rival Barack Obama if Hillary needs them to win the nomination. The new win-at-all-costs strategy, as it's called, was confirmed to Politico by a high-ranking Clinton campaign official today, and it's the most recent tactic set to be used to compensate for Hillary's shortfall in delegates. Hillary's camp denies the charge and issued this statement today, quote, "We have not and are not and will not pursue the pledged delegates of Barack Obama. It's now time for the Obama campaign to be clear about their intentions." Let's bring in our A-list panel. Gary Casimir is here. He's a former prosecutor. Mercedes Colwin is here with us, as are also Tanya Akers. She's our Democratic strategist, and Jason Rowe from D.C. for us. Okay, guys, I'm confused. Let me start with you, Jason. How can she go after pledged delegates? How does that even work?
Well, politics ain't beanbag, and unfortunately for Barack Obama, the beans in Hillary's bag are jumping beans. They're going to go after each other's delegates, I'd imagine, right until this thing's settled. It's not over until it's over, and strategically, this is a way to spread Barack's defense and force him to fight a race in different places than maybe he's comfortable doing.
Okay, but Tanya, what does that mean, go after pledged delegates? Send them roses? Send them candy? I mean, how does it work?
I have to tell you, I don't have the faintest idea. I don't know what it is that the Clinton campaign would be offering these Obama delegates that would get them to now suddenly change their votes or change their commitment. I got to tell you, I have no idea. I don't think it's true. The Clinton campaign has said it's not true. And at the end of the day, it would be a really bad political message for her to be sending, that this is how she would have to win the nomination. I don't buy it.
And again, Hillary Clinton's camp denies that this report in Politico is true. But as we know, Mercedes, this race on the Democratic side is going to come down to delegates because they're so close in votes that it's going to be decided, they think, by superdelegates. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they would try to sway them.
Oh, exactly right. And how desperate is their camp to be doing this and actually it being leaked out there? I mean, it's no joke that Hillary obviously felt, I'm going to win this hands down. It's going to be a landslide. I'm going to get all these delegates. Barack is going to be much, much further down. And suddenly he's winning. I mean, that desperation that she has, that's probably why these desperate measures are now what they're seeking to do.
I think Mercedes is right about one thing. This is a desperate time for both sides because it can go either way. Obama definitely has the momentum right now, and it's clear-cut that he has the momentum. You still have Texas and Ohio out there that are going to be major deciding factors in putting Clinton maybe closer to winning this or even. However, these delegates are a major prize here. They've pledged, so a certain percentage of each state will go to certain people. But they still have to go there and vote at the convention. The way you would go after them is try to convince those people that to change their mind that are on the other side. You literally go there and you try to change their mind. And this, of course, causes major angst to everybody because you're going against the will of the people. You're going against your own state, your party's rules. But this is what they would try to do. And it's unseemly, and I think they would deny it. But I think both sides want to make sure that they have enough to win. And I think it may come down to a pledge, just like Reagan and Bush in '76. I don't see it not happening.
But Jason, yeah, go ahead, Tanya.
So I was going to say the consequences of doing that would be a convention that would be so divided. I mean, it would be something much worse than we saw in '68. I think the likelihood of that happening is slim. I think we've got a big enough problem with how Hillary and Barack are going to deal with the superdelegate issue. If it comes down to that, and it very well may, I think that this would introduce a whole other level of controversy into it that we as Democrats really intend to stay away from.
But Jason, haven't the rules changed for this particular election because it is so unbelievably close? So might we not see different powers of persuasion, I guess is what Gary was alluding to,
a little more
in play here?
Well, and more than I think than trying to offer sweeteners, this is where it could really get negative, where they're going after each other's delegates with a negative campaign. And as a Republican, I'm delighted to watch this unfold. If they can take their primary race all the way to convention, that'd be fantastic. We've got our guy. We can all close ranks behind him and move forward. But yeah, I expect this is where you could potentially see some of the nastiest campaigning of the election so far.
And you have to admit, if it's so close, if it becomes a 10-point margin, there's no reason for them not to fight for it. It's going to be the Democratic Party is going to have to rein them in and try to control this situation. But both of them are going to feel entitled at this point to be representing the Democratic Party at the national election. I don't see how you can avoid it. I don't know how people are talking like this is not going to happen. I think they got a plan for it.
And Mercedes, as people have always said, you know, people think that negative campaigning is unseemly, but effective.
Very effective. I mean, that's how this campaign is going to be won ultimately. It's you're starting to see the backbiting, and everyone's like, we're not going to do this. Well, suddenly it's starting now.
And in fact, Tanya, it's interesting that they're even using their spouses, I think, more so in this race than ever before. I mean, we heard Mrs. McCain on the stump today. You know, all holds, no holds barred.
Come on, guys, though. I mean, if we're really going to suggest that this is the nastiest negative campaigning we've seen, that's just absurd. You know, at the end of the day, we've got two Democratic candidates who are in a hard-fought race. Most Democrats would be happy with either of them. That's a far cry from what's happening on the Republican side, with everybody on the far right trying to eat John McCain alive. So, notwithstanding all of this stuff, you know, we've got some hard-fought battles ahead of us and some hard-fought elections, but I think at the end of the day, it's not going to come down to the convention, and we are going to rein this in.
Okay, guys, I want to tell our audience that tonight we're going to have special primary coverage hosted by Brit Hume, and that is from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So you're going to have to stay up late, everyone, but it's going to be worth it. Okay, meanwhile, a jury will decide if Princess Diana's death was an accident or if she was the victim of a murder plot hatched by the royal family. Now a big controversy in an already controversial case. Did Diana's former butler lie on the stand? We'll find out next. The inquest into Princess Diana's death may be hitting a crossroads. New information has emerged from the Sun newspaper in London. The paper claims that they have uncovered a videotape in which Paul Burrell admits to misleading the royal court. Now, it's been reported that the former butler, Paul Burrell there, confessed to lying in court and that he withheld vital conversations between himself and the Queen. Burrell admits on the tape that what he did was illegal. Burrell has not yet confirmed if the recording is in fact real, but this could lead to further dispute. And if the tape is authentic, how will it affect the inquest? And just what is Paul Burrell hiding? Let's see what today's A-List has to say about this. Paul Burrell, I don't know if you guys have seen this videotape, but in it, he's sort of, I guess, talking to a friend, basically, and he says, yeah, you know, I inserted some red herrings into my testimony to throw them off, and I omitted some other very important information. Is it time to get this guy back into the inquest and charge him with something, Mercedes?
I mean, unquestionably bring him in and confront him with these tape recordings. Make a final determination. Is this in fact his voice? Is this something that's been fabricated? I mean, it's hard to believe that he would take such extraordinary risks. I mean, Burrell has written several books on Princess Diana. He's out in the media. Someone to take those extraordinary risks, knowing that he is a media person, that he's a public official of sorts, is really an extraordinary risk on his behalf.
Gary, you're Go ahead, Tanya.
It really looks to me like it's some sort of self-serving publicity measure. I agree that you got to bring him in. You have to ask him the right questions to see if he lied. But what he's clearly trying to suggest here is that he had some secret conversations with the Queen of England in which she confessed that there was some big royal plot to kill Princess Diana. That is absurd. I don't believe that for a second.
You know,
I think you do need to find out. You do need to find out what he was asked. You do need to find out exactly what he withheld. And if he lied, he lied. But I don't think there's a bigger story behind it than that.
Go ahead, Jason.
He comes across, I think, somewhat naively as well. You know, he says that he's been, quote, very naughty, as if the punishment for this is a spanking. You know, perjury. Perjury in the UK that's a 10-year
like
sentence.
Boarding school in England, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, do you think that the inquest can continue without hearing more from him, or has he sort of sabotaged this?
There has to be something to look into whether he obstructed justice. I mean, if there's an obstruction to the investigation, he has to be brought in and then has to be investigated.
And I don't think the inquest would be complete unless they gave him another round and brought him in based on this, because the public's always going to say, hey, you left this guy out there who says he has more information and lied to you and you didn't bring him back.
All right, panel.
Sadly, this, I think, forces this thing to go on.
Okay, on that last word, panel, thanks so much for all of your insights. We appreciate it.